This voice is not my voice. It's not my voice. It's the voice of my beautiful and kind boyfriend, who is helping me for the sake of love, despite thinking that I shouldn't be an artist. He considers it a waste of time, energy, and money. He has always preferred ancient, while I defend contemporary art as a possibility of the present. I mean, as a real possibility to interpret the world through a symbolic dimension, beyond a mere decoration serving representations of power and inexistent gods. A more open and free way to create, to express and to experiment, perhaps. However, if our contemporary society creates the conditions making art still possible, it also gives it a structure which has its own dynamics of power. There seems to be a certain widespread collective belief that art gives expression to the soul, represents the world to the senses, and stimulates the spirit. According to Kandinsky, art offers another kind of external similarity which is founded on a fundamental truth. As a result, to go to an art exhibition is to gain access to a space of contemplation with a special kind of knowledge available through sensible and intellectual stimulus. The spatial context by itself, as Duchamp highlighted with his provocative ready-mades, is enough to introduce us to a different mindset. This happens because we value the idea of art as a cultural capital that can activate our gaze to a deeper level. But what happens if we stop giving credit to that cultural capital? Maybe my boyfriend, who is lending his voice to this artwork, is right. In my artistic experience, I have realized that the art system is the expression of interconnected economic, cultural, and political dimensions, involving conventions, tastes, and interests, which contribute to characterize it as a hybrid system that is at the same time structured by art and structurant of art. Because contemporary art is subjective to such a high degree, it is the power to argue that makes the difference at the conceptual level, giving the few people holding positions of power in this field a free hand to dominate the mechanisms of inclusion and exclusion that define the canon of art for the rest of society. The importance of the discourse of the experts has empowered the mediating agents, such as curators, who dictate the dominant narratives that generate the framing that legitimates art and defines a hierarchical artistic valuation that market will then quantify. Faced with this scenario, I wonder what can be the role of the artist in making the dimension of art the free space where it is possible to explore expressions of the relation of the self with the other and with existence. How can we make the conceptual dimension of art the true, deep and transformative space for the exploration of creative expressions? Is it possible to come out of the framings of art without art losing its meaning as art? Is it possible for art to be inclusive and democratic without losing its distinctiveness as a privileged means to question the world out of banality? Is it possible for art to be sincere in its intentions, not a mere instrument for keeping in place the closed structure of the system? I have been asking myself such questions ever since I carried out the artivist occupation of the National Museum of Contemporary Art in Lisbon, in collaboration with dozens of other people. I feel that I entered this act of dissension as an artist, and I came out of it as a person. I started to question myself more about the cultural construct we call art, and what sense could be made of being an agent of the perpetuation of such a category, since the current system is the outcome of power relations linked to elitism and status through culture, to capitalist values and hierarchies fed by the cultural institutions. Besides, what can be made of the pervasive superficiality of contents currently legitimated by relativistic criteria and void rhetoric, without falling into totalitarian attitudes in matters of taste and reducing art to decoration, the issue ceased to be intellectually distant, analytical or anthropological. It is all that, at the same time, and it haunts me. I can feel it. The more I feel it, the more I feel lost in the process of rebuilding my role as an artist at the level of identity, without expecting any Godot or aspiring to any Eldorado, if it still makes sense to consider myself and be considered by others an artist. Anyhow, my boyfriend, who is speaking to you now, never considered any of this really important. And if he has a point in demystifying the artist, he knows I won't give up in trying to live up to my dream. Because he knows that I believe that we are what we dream, and that we become what we do. And my dream right now, what I need to explore, even if I don't know how to do it, is to find ways to link, within or beyond art, aesthetics to ethics, the self and the other, ways to bring back together art and society. I don't think there is only one way to achieve this, but any alternative should be based on a common set of values with psychological, cultural, social, political and economical repercussions. The dream of creating a more democratic art through liberty, equality and fraternity, as the slogan goes, could sound just like an historical cliché or just another utopia. But if I would give up my dreams or stop living according to those dreams, I would feel I'm living a life that is not worth being lived, doing an art that is not worth being done. This voice is not my voice. It's the voice of my beautiful and kind boyfriend who is helping me for the sake of love, despite thinking that I shouldn't be an artist. He considers it a waste of time, energy, and money.